Coming up.
Always be creating. Like, it makes sense, doesn't it? Okay, the number one reason you're not getting hired as an artist. The simple answer is you're not updating your portfolio or showreel. Yeah, what I've noticed from like looking at LinkedIn and everyone's desperate for a job or desperate for a contract, what I've noticed is people are using they're taking their last commercial work, the last work that they got exchanged money for, they're putting that as the newest material on their portfolio or showreel and calling it a day. And then they're spending months and months applying for jobs with the same material. I believe you should always be adding to your portfolio, even if you don't have any paying work going on. Well, especially if you don't have any paying work going on. And I've been guilty of this myself. You know, I've been, finished at a company and then I've spent months with the same, using that work that I did at that company, using that work. It's weird, like for the first 2 or 3 weeks after you finish at a company, you're like, well, yeah, this is surely good enough for me to just skip into the next role. But that doesn't take into account that the last couple of years we've had in the industry, and for future viewers, I'm meaning sort of 2022 to 2024 and beyond a bit. Yeah, we don't know when it's going to stop actually, this little bad turn. You need to always be adding to your showreel or portfolio. Here's the thing. If you want to carry on working in a creative industry, you've always got to be creating. Always be creating. Like, it makes sense, doesn't it? Like, it's not like other industries, like if you're a plumber or a gardener and you don't have any work, then yeah, you're probably not going to spend your spare time doing some more, keeping your plumbing skills up to date or your gardening skills up to date. Maybe a bad example because you could work on your own garden. But anyway, I firmly believe in the creative industry, you've always got to be creating, like weekly, if not daily, in an ideal situation, personal circumstances permitting. You might be watching this and going, but Liz, I'm always creating. And I'd say, aha, are you creating, or are you just keeping yourself busy? Are you just whirring away on your hamster wheel? I'm gonna tell you 4 signs that show you whether you're doing the wrong thing, whether you're distracting yourself from updating your portfolio. Number 1, have you decided to learn a niche, non-industry standard piece of software because it looks exciting and interesting and intriguing? Maybe it's something that's just come out on the market and it shows a lot of promise. And you think, I'm going to learn that. I'm going to get ahead of a curve. I'm going to be an expert in this shiny, bright new software. That's great in theory, but if there's no companies paying at that moment for users of that software, then you're going in the wrong direction and you're wasting your time and your savings are going to evaporate. Stick with the software. It's going to get you your next job. Sign number 2, a little bit different from the first sign, but have you decided to transfer from one industry standard piece of software to another industry standard piece of software? Even though your current software you're using, there's still companies paying for that. A specific example I see a lot of is Unity artists or game artists that use Unity as their main engine. I see a lot of Unity people seeing the nice flashiness of the latest versions of Unreal and thinking, excellent, I'm going to learn Unreal. My artwork's going to look better. I'm going to smash it in the interviews. I'm going to get my next job using Unreal. The problem with that is you're sort of competing against people that have used Unreal for many years or even many months. If someone's got a head start on you, they're going to do better when they go for the same jobs as you. With most of these activities that I'm talking about, these 4 reasons, these are all great things to do when you've got paying work. This is what you should be doing in your evenings and spare time, on your weekends, if the weather's too bad to go out and do something healthy. That's when you pick up that niche bit of obscure software. That's when you decide to transfer from Maya to Blender or Unity to Unreal, Cinema 4D to Blender, whatever, you know, whatever is the great herd mentality move of the day. Okay, the third sign that you're sort of wasting your time and not going in the right direction is, are you creating resources and assets for the general community? You know, what I'm talking about specifically here is, are you going out, spending your evenings and weekends or your unemployed days, frankly, are you spending your spare time taking reference photos with the belief that, oh, this is building up my reference library, you know, this is going to be all great texture reference for my next job? Or are you even posting on social media like, hey everyone, here's some reference photos I took, feel free to use them, show me any cases of how you've used them, that'd be really, really great, you know. That will make you feel good, you know, being useful for other people. But if it's not helping you get your next job, you know, we need to delay that charitable endeavor until you've got paying work. Save it until you've got the money coming in. And the final sign that you're distracting yourself from keeping your portfolio updated is, are you helping out on other people's dream projects? And this is usually a good thing. But if you're helping someone out for free, you know, they're making an indie game and they've got no budget, you know, whatever. If you're helping them out and the work that you create for them isn't going to help you get your next job, then you need to decline these requests for work and say, you know, I'll be glad to help you out when I've got paying work. I can help you out then in the evenings and then on the weekends. But until then, I've got to get my head down, you know, portfolio updated, you know, just keep cranking out example work. Now, the caveat to this final sign is, if the work you're going to do for someone as a favor, if that work will help you get your next paid work, then yeah, go for it. You know, say if you're a hard surface modeler and someone asks you for some hard surface models for their indie game or their short film, by all means, you know, but say like, in exchange for this free labor, you know, you need to understand, I'm going to put these models on my portfolio, on my showreel. And, you know, obviously they can't argue with that. They should be happy with that. But yeah, they're my 4 main signs that you're not doing what you actually need to do, i.e. keep your portfolio updated. They're the 4 signs that you're going in the wrong direction and you're spending your time not optimally. Like these things are great activities to do when you have paying work, you know, when the rent's being paid, when the mortgage is being paid, when the bills are being paid. These are all great things to do, don't get me wrong. But yeah, when you're unemployed, you just need to get your head down and just keep pushing stuff into that portfolio. Like, you know, just try and flood it with quality work as regularly as you can. All right, I think I've driven the point home enough. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.